Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Eddie Fee, spelled F-E-E. Been in Rostrum a long time, and I am what they call a freeman of Rostrum. That's a fairly fancy title, but one well earned, I might tell you. There are lots of freemen in Rostrum, and that is a recognition of the fact that an individual has spent a lot of time, a lot of effort in just going a little further with their development, and also it identifies the people who've had enough experience that they can help others. In my corporate life, this led me off into some directions that I never imagined. I was asked some years ago by my CEO to organise a conference. You can speak a few words, Ed, you know, you're confident. Would you organise a conference for me? I said, yep. And I found out what it was. 500 people. We used 2 venues in Brisbane, forming one organisation called United Fresh. Everybody involved in the fresh natural industry in Australia was involved. Now I took that on. I took on a committee, and we had a fantastic time. The only reason I could do that is because I was very confident at this process of talking to people and getting people to help. I then, in the same organisation, was asked to do 2 more, and then with another organisation, a financial organisation, organised 2 conferences for those people as well. Only because I was confident in getting people to support me, gathering people around, and I was able to explain exactly what I wanted to all these folks. They're the big things that have happened to me. Also, I have, and this is something I shouldn't forget to mention, you learn leadership techniques. At one stage, and my former wife will attest to this, I was president of 5 organisations in the 1 year. 5. I just loved to be in front, loved to organise, which was nothing like I was 20 years before. I was asked to stand for a pre-selection for the National Party. I was heading up the Association of Superannuation Funds in Queensland. I was at the same time president, and illustrious president of my tennis club, and president of one of the organisations at a college, all in the 1 year. That contributed a lot to my further development. It didn't do a great deal of good for my home life, but I proved to myself that there's no limit to what you can do if you become proficient at speaking in front of people, and that means being able to speak without a lot of preparation, but just drawing on your experience and the confidence that we gained through Rostrum. So they're the main things I've got out of it. There's a lot of corporate life, a lot of other things. I've been into training. I spent 2 years as a professional speaker and had 15 engagements. And these things that a lot of people don't know that I've done. That was thoroughly enjoyable, and I learned a great deal. Each time you move to another area, not only is there experience to do it, but there's a learning from it. I go back in this organisation for some 40 years. I was quite young when I started, obviously. It was at a time when, being young and enthusiastic, I was very keen to improve myself. And in my hometown of Bundaberg, I used to do a little bit of speaking around the place, just on the radio station and things of that kind. After a few years, when I got into corporate life and realised that there was an opportunity, provided one was able to make sense verbally at the right time. I did not too much about it until I came to Brisbane. Then things changed. I found myself catapulted into a reasonably senior role before I was ready. I was terrified in meetings. I'd go to a meeting of 30 to 40 people, and I really didn't have the confidence to stand up and ask a question. I did something about this. I saw an ad in the paper for people who would like to join a Rostrum club, whatever that happened to be, and I went along, and I've been a member ever since. It's been a wonderful experience, so let me share with you a couple of things that you get from being a Rostrum member. The big benefit is the improvement in your self-confidence. Speaking opens the door, but your self-confidence, your personality, the way you are, changes dramatically once you realise you can stand in front of a group of people without being fearful. It also helps you in your social life, wherever you're going. You never feel you're with strangers, because you're so accustomed to speaking in front of people that you're very comfortable when someone says, hey, this is Brian Corner, I've never met him before, but I know that I can put everybody into a frame of friendship very, very quickly, because as an individual, I'm able to do that. I have, over this time in Rostrum, seen literally probably hundreds of people. There are many, many of them who have developed well past the standard that they thought they could ever imagine for themselves. They've become senior executives. Some of them, God bless their little heart, 3 that I know of, became politicians. And they've done that because they developed confidence here. Now that might seem a little difficult for those of you to understand who haven't had much experience in Rostrum. It's a speaking organisation, yes, but its prime benefit is the development of the individual. Now, like most of you here, I have read personal development books by the dozens. I can put my hand on at least 40 or 50. I've read each one of them once. I've never gone back to a book a second time. And I tell people now, you want to develop yourself, glance at the first and last page and the foreword and the final chapter of those books and then throw them away. Instead, join a rostrum. I haven't seen anything in those books which will come close to the learning that we get from being in rostrum. So to people out there, or wherever they are, your friends or whoever, who are contemplating some form of training for themselves to improve themselves, tell them the first stop, which will often be the one and only stop, is rostrum. What rostrum develops people through the training in speaking, but predominantly through being able to and having to, in a club situation, a friendly situation, stand in front of people and talk. In my early time, I'll just finish with this, I was so terrified I told you I couldn't stand at a meeting. Now I can honestly say I never get nervous in front of anybody, because I know that rostrum has given me my own personality, my self-confidence, and I know I can do it. That doesn't mean to say I'm superior to anybody, and that is a feeling that every experienced rostrum club enjoys. I can only say, if you want to develop yourself, give yourself a greater chance in life, join a rostrum club.